Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. We are joined by two special guests today. Please introduce yourself and let us know what your name is, what you do, who you are, everything about you.
So I'm Grace. I am an online coach and personal trainer. I coach shift workers mainly. We work together, but kind of I have my own niche and Lydia has hers. And I'm from Manchester. She's a half Scouser.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Well, she lives here now, so. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
Life. I'm Lydia. At Lydia's PT.
Nice.
Shameless plug. Love
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been in. I'm a PT coach. Been in the industry for I think 6 years, and I coach people just to change their lives because that's what we need to do. We need to change more people's lives.
Lovely. But most importantly, what coffee have you got?
An espresso. I'm on decaf. I haven't had a coffee in like 3
Okay.
months, like a proper caffeinated coffie. Just one of those people, aren't I?
Right, get off.
This
I know.
Grace, we're just going to do this podcast with you today, Grace.
Mine's a Stormio Nespresso.
Nice.
Bit
Good
of
choice.
oatmeal. Yeah. Have you tried the pumpkin spice one yet?
Yeah. It's nice.
Oh, God.
I think
I
it's
like it.
I love it. Yeah, I went through 2 boxes in like nearly a week, I think.
You're addicted to
I
caffeine.
was having 2 a day.
Lydia, why are you decaffeinating yourself? The reason?
I just feel like I'm just very. I've just got a lot of energy all the time, and sometimes when I was having coffee, I was just getting to the point where I was just like, right, okay, I've got heart palpitations. This is not good.
Yeah,
And-
okay, fair.
Coffee just tastes nice by itself, so I was like, I'm just not going to drink it. So I
Fair.
just drank a well, it's a lie that I've actually had one cappuccino, which was it had 1 shot in, didn't it?
Yeah, because Costa have ran out of decaf everywhere. Decaf and marshmallows, they've got a shortage. That's what the woman told me.
Never mind the fuel shortage.
Yeah.
Costa,
Yeah.
I've got no marshmallows or decaf.
Yeah.
Why is no one talking about this?
She was like, it's a Costa thing. I don't know what's going on.
But yeah, no, but my sleep's been like massively improved.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I need coffee. So
Yeah, I get the sense you've always got good energy all the time.
I'm just a little bit hyper every now and again. Just gets a bit extreme sometimes.
Us peasants, where like our natural state is, I want to go to sleep in 5 minutes, so we need the coffee. You need the coffee to function properly.
Yeah.
You probably don't need it. We've got a couple of questions, haven't we, Jack?
Yeah. Got 2 good ones and then 1 really challenging and good one to finish on. I'm excited for the third one more than I am for the other 2. I'm excited for the first 2, but the third one, because when you asked me, Isaac asked me this before we started recording this episode, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really good question. Give me a minute, I had to think about it. So yeah, it's good. I'm excited.
I am not. I'm nervous.
What's question number 1, lad?
Question number 1. 3 words. What's your why?
Just 3 words.
Just 3 words. What's not in 3 words, but the question is 3 words. No, you've got to tell me exactly why you get up every morning, but only using 3 words.
That's a short podcast, that lad.
Yeah, short podcast.
Question 2. You've only got 2 words.
And the last one, the most challenging 1 word. Fine. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, we'll do. So my reason why I'd say is I was like the fat kid when I was younger. Hated PE. My sister was a gymnast. She was kind of like, I just used to like waddle behind my sister, like, you know, always going to all these like shows, watching Tish, and I was just like Trev, like at the back. My uncles actually nicknamed me Trev because I was a proper lad.
I'm going to send you both a picture as to why she's called Trev, so you understand again.
Yeah. And then it just kind of spiraled for me to the point where I put on a shitload of weight when I went to uni, and it just got to the point where I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So my fitness journey kind of started from there about 14, 15 years ago. And then I just kind of like fell in love with it. Met Lydia about 5 years ago, and then it just kind of went from there. And at the time I was working in the police, started doing my qualifications, and then eventually qualified, started doing both. So I was doing PT online and working in the police, and then it just got a bit too hectic, so just went all in. And yeah, I think for me it's like the mental health side of it with the police, because they're all struggling. Like a lot of police officers have either previously or still got the head up their arse. And there's not really a great deal out there, as in, I mean, you just fill in a survey once a month to say how you're doing, and people aren't honest on them. So for me, all the people that I coach now, I really zone in on that with them, and try to make sure that it's not really massively about, you know, getting shredded or looking amazing. It's just about, is everything ticking over as it should do? Are you feeling okay? And I'm just someone to fall back on, as in like supporting the mental health side of things as well for them. So yeah, that's, I suppose, my reason why.
Nice.
Love it.
Do you know, what I think, we'll obviously listen to you in a second, Lydia, but I think whenever you ask someone that question, why they're into coaching, you always see them, they want to bring what they've experienced in their life to others. You've obviously been on your journey yourself through the police, probably, I don't know, potentially suffered with what you've just mentioned there, that everyone's got their head up their arse at some point.
Yeah.
Sort of a bit neglected, obviously. I imagine the shifts are mad, like the working hours. And so being able to have gone through that yourself, managed all of that, learned a lot of how to actually do that, now having the ability and the gift to be able to bring that to other people I feel like that's why my why is deeply anchored in what I've been through and the lessons that I've learned, and being able to bring that to other people. I know it's the same with Jack.
The monkey bars for you, lad. I was a part of that a couple of weeks ago.
The monkey bars, lad. Did you see that on my story?
No.
I saw Jack on the monkey bars. I didn't see you on them, no.
I broke my arm on monkey bars when I was a kid.
Share with everyone.
Yeah, I feel intrigued to know the monkey bars, the story now.
Of your...
Feeling there.
This is like the Isaac origin story.
This is a life-defining moment that happened to me when I actually don't know how old I was. I think I was in the region of like 6-ish, 6 or 7, maybe, I don't know, around that. And there's the monkey bars, there's a park called Greenbank Park in Liverpool. And they're hard, they're fucking hard monkey bars, aren't they? Even Jack struggled the other day.
Yeah, they're like, you know, not just like a straight set, they've got like a snake. Yeah.
But they're also about 10 foot in the air, I'd say. They're high as well. So when I was a kid, I tried to do them and kept falling off, and then started crying and wanted to leave. And I was with my mum, and she was like, she just refused to let me leave the park until I completed the monkey bars. So I'd fall, start crying, and then she'd say, no, just get it. She obviously come for me and put me back on the thing and just be like, go again. And we were literally there for about an hour until I got it in the end. And then I got it and was just buzzing, dead happy, and then we left. And it's just like a very simple piece of parenting, but what that taught me was like, no matter how hard something is, if you just keep going and keep trying and try a different way, or try something slightly different and just be relentless in your pursuit of doing something, you will eventually get there. And although it's such a small, insignificant thing, that drilled something into me, which was very powerful, and I made Jack do it the other day.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, that's really good.
It is, yeah, it's really good.
Did you manage the monkey bars, Jack?
Just, yeah. I didn't have the same life-defining moment, I don't think, as Isaac did.
Isaac didn't tell it. Isaac just can't get the foot back up, lad.
I broke my arm on monkey bars when I was a kid, so
yeah.
I literally remember I used to stand on the platform and I could jump to like the second one, then I could jump to the third one, and I tried being brave and jumping to the 4th one, and I literally just went, whew, face grazed all my face and broke my arm.
Yeah, they're fucking dangerous, them monkey bars.
Yeah,
aren't they?
Dangerous.
I was on my own as well, on the park.
Lydia, what's your why?
So I grew up with in a household where one of my parents was just overweight, and throughout my whole entire life I've watched that parent just struggle, literally just struggle every single day. Used to go to Weight Watchers with them, or like Slimming World, whatever the fuck it was back then, and just watching and being in that environment, and then obviously growing up and not having that same kind of attachment to food, because I played football, so we got told what to eat in a sense, and like if you were running, I couldn't eat shit, so I had to have energy. So I've never had that attachment to food where obviously one of my parents did. So I just know when I got to football and was doing what I was doing and obviously getting better and better, and obviously I knew I was putting good food in me, I was getting good back. It was like a defining moment as such to go, well, why can't she do that? Why can't my mum do that? And then as I got older, started going to the gym, just thought, right, I can do this. And then obviously as you get to the gym, you go through your PT qualification, which is the worst thing in the whole entire world. And then you learn about nutrition. And then it just all like clicked. And then obviously when you go on Instagram, you see people, you see like, we just live in a population, don't we, where people are just a lot bigger than what they probably need to be, and just don't realise how easy it is once you just lay the fundamentals. And I think there's 101 ways to skin a cat, and people just go down one route. And I think they need to be like, everything just needs to be taught to them in different ways. So I just don't want to see people or have people like me grow up and thinking food's bad or good or anything like that. So I just want to change people's lives in that sense, to say it is actually okay, and training is good for your mental health. You don't have to do it for a physique kind of goal. You can just do it for an overall, I feel fucking good now, I've been in the gym. Right, okay, bye, I'm going to go eat something green. So it's like,
As long as it's green, it's okay.
yeah, that's it.
Not weed though.
Yeah, not weird.
Again, it's like
People eating space cakes after this now.
it's like the same sort of thing. It's like what you've been not necessarily been through as a person, but experienced the pain that your mum has gone through from a relationship with food and being overweight and whatnot. You now have the gift and the ability to be able to not let anyone else go through that.
100%. And my mum now, she looks like a complete different person. She understands food, and she doesn't, you know, she's very, I think as well, like I think people in that generation, they're very much emotional eaters about like obviously going in depth with it, because obviously this is just a normal podcast, let's not go down that route. But I think a lot of them are emotional eaters, and now like she'll see herself falling victim to it, but like change it. And I think that's just like a huge...
Yeah, there wasn't really much out there, was there? Like we didn't have Instagram, Facebook, all the things that kind of, like, there is some useful stuff out there, isn't there now, for people to actually go, oh my God, that's me, that's why I do it. Whereas when your mum and my mum, and because I know my mum had like struggles with eating disorders and stuff like that, but no one knew what it was back then.
I think the advances in what available research is out there, but also how like easily accessible it is for us, at least anyway. We know sort of what we're looking for and what is good and what is unreliable information. But I think like their generation, there was wasn't an eating disorder. I mean, there was
the stigma around it as well. It's like, shut up, what do you mean emotionally, and just don't eat it? You know what I mean? Like,
I think
it's changed a lot.
My mum, when because my mum had bulimia, and she said when she went to the doctors, he had to actually like get a book out and bring someone else in to find out what was wrong with her, because he didn't know. So like,
I was 16 when that happened.
16,
so it's like 40
years ago, yeah. And it was just like she didn't have a clue. The doctor didn't have a clue, and it's like, but nowadays, you know, there's that much out there, and like you say, research. But
it's crazy.
And I think as well, which is, I don't know if this is a valid point or what have you, but food is it's in our life constant. It's a constant. It's always there. So if you don't get along with it, in the sense of like you'll binge or you'll undereat or you'll do one of the others, it's like why not like learn and find that happy medium with it, like, and actually go, okay, food doesn't need to actually control my life here. I can actually just like eat when I want to eat, and as long as it's good and, you know, nutrient dense, like I'm going to be okay from it.
That's an amazing point. It's like if you can't get along with food, you're fucked. You need to eat it every day.
Yeah,
Literally.
Like
Sorry, go on.
we had this conversation a while ago, and we were talking about a book. I can't remember what book it was, but you were saying like the two drivers of all human beings, when you break it down, is to feed and fuck.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your, like, when as soon as you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
feed, fuck, repeat. Like,
Yeah.
and everything else that you do is to do those two things well.
Yeah.
So if you can't get along with 50% of what your base driving factor is, then that's something that you should probably look at.
You're going to live a very unhappy life, guys.
Yeah.
Very unhappy life.
No, I'd sort of on that topic as well. Like food needs to be something you get along with. I was having this conversation with myself the other day. I was listening to a couple of podcasts over the last month or so, and they've sort of changed how I think. Actually, John, not John. I actually want to call you John. Who the fuck's John?
I mean, we've only known each other for years. It doesn't hurt.
Who the fuck's John?
Say it at all.
No, it's similar to the idea in the chimp paradox.
Mm.
You've read that, haven't you? Have you guys read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, if you can't get on with yourself, then your life's going to be a little bit shit, because you have to deal with yourself all day, every single day. If you can't get on with the chimp that's in your brain, then it's going to be a very difficult existence. And so one of the podcasts I was listening to had a woman on, and she's an author, and a recent book she's written is called something like the High Five.
High Five Habit, Mel Robbins.
Yes.
Yeah. What
You
podcast
high
was
five
it?
yourself.
What podcast was it?
Yeah. Steve Bartlett's Park.
Yeah.
It's sick.
It's probably one of the best podcasts that he's got out.
Yeah.
So really, Jack, you're gonna laugh your head off. So basically, the whole book, I haven't read it obviously, but the whole book apparently is about looking at yourself in the mirror every single morning and giving yourself a high five.
Isaac, have you done it then?
I've fist bumped myself because high five's a bit gay.
I could go with that. Honestly, every now and again, like I pull me with me, you know, the what the fuck they call the car flat thing.
Yeah.
But regardless, that thing down on, yes, and then just carry on going.
Yeah.
It does fucking work.
It's so good because you just piss yourself laughing and then you're happy then, aren't you? It's like gives you a little like, yeah.
No, it's great, but I think just the act of looking at yourself in the mirror, because you never actually, like, you'll look in the mirror and you like brush your teeth or like check your hair or something, but you never actually look at yourself deep in the eyeballs.
No.
You don't look into your soul, you know. But when you actually look at yourself in the eyes and you realize that you're an actual human, you're almost in the same way that, Jack, I look at you and I have empathy for you because you're the person that I care about and whatnot. You have that about yourself, and it's a weird scenario because you almost like forget about yourself, you neglect yourself, you just like you don't treat yourself like you would treat another person. And
would you say as coaches as well that we give a lot of our, say like we have 100% energy to give out to people, we give probably like 99.8% of that to all our clients, Instagram, family, relationships, and then it's like we've got like what 0.2% left for ourselves.
Yes, definitely.
I told you about that. The statistic about pet owners, how that like the likelihood of them missing a medication for their pet is like non-existent. Yeah, that's true. That so if your pet's on medication, if you've got a dog and it needs to take flea, even the flea or the worm and stuff, you never forget it. But then when they looked at their own personal medication or their doctor's appointments or their own personal health, they were missing appointments, they weren't taking the medication, and they were like I can't remember the statistics, so I won't say them because I'll murder it, but the disparity between like this dog and its worming tablet and me and like diabetes medication was like, do you know what I mean? Like you can't remember to take your own diabetes medication, but you can worm your dog every 4 weeks and not forget. It's
because you care more about your dog than yourself.
Dogs are amazing.
I think it's the same with like mental and physical health though as well. Like I was listening to a podcast the other day, I think that was a Jay Shetty one.
All right, we love dogs on here.
He's so needy. he'll be barking because he gets jealous when other dogs go for a walk. Well, he sits there going mad at them as they walk past. Yeah, and it was about like if you break your leg, for example, you go to the hospital, you go and get it seen to. You don't carry on walking around on it. Well, unless you're complete.
Isaac did. He broke something and carried on walking on it, didn't you?
Well, are you talking about recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, so recently I didn't actually broke. I just got a hematoma in my tibialis anterior, which was fine now. But previously, I actually did get a hairline fracture in my tibia. I think it was my tibia. I can't quite remember. In my tibia, let's just say it was tibia, and carried on playing football for like 3 months before I thought, you know, I should probably go to the hospital.
About time.
Yeah. Well, most people wouldn't carry on doing that. But yeah, but like they were saying with mental health, for example, we just kind of carry on and don't actually, because it's invisible.
Yeah.
You don't always go and like get it seen to, or you kind of just pass it by and put it to the back of your mind, and then obviously it just ruminates. But yeah, so I think that's quite an interesting point as well.
You know, a big part of that, like where you said you can't see it, is like, again, that like almost like peer pressure. Like if you could see your mental health, if your mental health was stamped across your head,
yeah,
like I feel like absolute shit today, and you wouldn't walk around in front of your friends, in front of your family, because you wouldn't want them to see that.
Yeah.
So you go and do something about it, but because of that, you can't see it. People are just like, "Nah, worry about it. I'll go sort. I've got the kids to work. I've got the kids to look after. I've got the dog to look after. I've got to get to work." Whereas a broken arm, you if there's blood and bone and all kinds sticking out your arm, people are gonna be like, "Hey, you need to go and get that fixed." Like that's not right. That shouldn't look like that.
Yeah. Would you think that that's because other people would show you the empathy that you need to go and get it sorted, and they can't necessarily always do that with mental health?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
because you're not showing yourself the empathy, you're the only one who can see it.
And if you're struggling with your mental health, you don't think you deserve to go and get it fixed a lot of the time.
Yeah, and you feel like a burden. I know, like people have said that to me in the past, like people that have been close to me as well. They said like, I didn't want to ring, or I didn't want to do this because I just don't want to be a burden on anyone. And yeah, it is worrying really that it's still, but when you're in that frame of mind, I think it's hard to kind of get yourself out.
Do you know what? Because we've both done a mental health qualification. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck it is. So it's awarding mental health and exercise coaching. And the two people who do it, called Dan Hancock and Ben Lewis. Yeah, but what are they called?
I was looking at it. Is it a good course?
Really good.
Really
good. They have they've quoted something. So this isn't like a fucking Albert Einstein quote. This is like literally from them. But it's like, what if there isn't anything up with mental health? What if it's we don't know how to respond? So everyone's got mental health issues without realizing it. Like the pandemic, like made it very, very apparent that everyone has something in them that might need a little bit of help every now and again.
Some form of poor mental health.
Yeah, and I think people just don't know how to respond back. They don't know how to actually go, "Oh, everything's going to be okay. Don't worry." Because what if that's not the thing that they need to hear at that point in time?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that would be, when someone goes like, if you're angry and someone says calm down.
Yeah, tell me to calm down.
Let's calm down. What's up with you? Shut up.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But so what can someone start doing to show themselves more empathy, and not just in terms of like mental health, but also like general day-to-day, like prioritizing everyone else above themselves, not prioritizing their physical health as well as their mental health. So I feel like that is a thing where people just forget that they are a human that needs looking after as well.
Yeah, we've started getting our clients to high five themselves. We put that in the group the other day, and then I always say to my clients as well, I add it on the end of the daily checklist, a gratitude log.
Yeah,
just like 3 things, like literally someone made you a nice coffee, and I think gratitude is the biggest thing in actually just life in general, and appreciating everything. And it kind of reaffirms who you are, where you've come from, and it's just, gratitude is everything to me, I think.
Yeah.
And I think if you can express gratitude, you will eventually start to love yourself and love everything that you've kind of been through in your path in life and why it's led you to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't change the past.
No.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something, Jack?
Yeah, a big one for me with that. Like, I love the gratitude as part of my check-ins with everyone, and like the sort of what did you do well, and that I more and more have just removed all negativity from my interactions with clients, because that's what they're focused on.
Yeah.
And you find, like, you will do, because this is like coaching phenomenon, that you don't hear your clients after a bad week.
Yeah.
You hear from them when they've had a really, really good week. You don't hear from them when they've had a terrible week, but you only really want to hear from them when they've had a terrible week.
Yeah.
Because that's where you need the most sort of interaction.
Yeah.
So on those, like, I love those calls. I love those conversations. It's like, what did you do well this week? Oh, nothing. I had the takeaway. I didn't go to the gym. My sleep was terrible. And it's like, okay, but what did you do well this week?
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm like, no, but you did. You did. Go and dig. I don't care what it is. Did you make the bed? Did you get the kids to school on time? Like, what did you do well this week that meant all of this other stuff didn't go well? Like, you did some stuff, otherwise you wouldn't be here now. Like, you got through the week, didn't you? It was a really fucking difficult week. You got through it, so something went well.
Yeah.
Be having this conversation. And there's always something.
Yeah, that's exactly like the way I do it as well. And it, rather than going, oh God, you know, and like showing sympathy, I got taught this years ago, but it was about, like, you've got two pools, you've got sympathy and you've got empathy, and the person's in the pool already. If you jump in, if you go into sympathy, you're jumping in the water with them, but you need to stay outside of it and actually help them out, and that's empathy. And that's
never known a more naughty dog than ours.
He does it every time we're on Zoom.
Yeah, I can beat that. Mine's in a big crate downstairs for that exact reason, because otherwise you'd be in here fighting me and stuff.
He's the smallest dog in the world.
Get here.
Like, literally the smallest dog in the world.
He just wants to sit on your knee. That's all he wants.
That's an amazing metaphor. That's going to stay with me forever.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, and then another way I do it as well is like not feeding into it, just asking better questions, like, so what are you going to do? You know, what can you now do to kind of, you know, get past whatever's gone on this week, rather than going, oh God, yeah, no, totally. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I came off, I do a weekly live now with all my clients. I came off for this morning just before this podcast, and today's was about reframing. So like, there's always going to be bad situations in life. So when someone's feeling down, they've done everything shit, like Jack, you've just said, there's always going to be something that came out that was good, and you can always feed into the positives and actually look towards the positives. It's like, if you can reframe a situation, you almost become completely untouchable.
Yeah.
Everything that it's life's bound to punch you in the face every now and then. It's bound to go badly.
Yeah.
So it's like 9 times out of 10. No, 9 times out of 10. Probably like 50% of the time, it's either going to be good or bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be further towards bad sometimes, and it's going to be further towards good sometimes. But generally, life's going to be hard. And if you can always find the positives from it, generally we just get through life a little bit easier and find everything works a lot nicer and runs a lot smoother.
To go full D-Martini on it, there's no good or bad in any situation.
Well, yeah, that's what I tried to get across.
Yeah.
Don't get wrong.
And as well, I always think as well, like, if there is bad times, which I always like say to my clients as well, it's building your resilience and your confidence for the next time anything like that comes up. You know how to deal with it, and you know you can deal with it.
Yeah.
And then like, oh yeah, like you say, reframing it, putting it into different language rather than it all like doom and gloom.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I spoke to them today about was, like, think of the worst time of your whole life, the absolute worst, the worst moment or the worst period of your life, and write down 5 things that came good from it. Because, and Jack, we spoke about this when we were seeing Martini talking about relationships. Like, if you've had a really bad relationship, something positive came from that. If you had a really bad time in your life, something positive came from that, whether it's you, as you just said, Grace, become more resilient or gain more experience. Maybe you've had a terrible relationship and it absolutely ruined your life, but now you demand more from a partner in terms of respect, or you have gone through the most unbelievably difficult thing you could possibly ever experience, and you've got through it, and now you've got an unwavering confidence within yourself that you're resilient and you can conquer anything that life throws at you. So, like, there's always something good that can come from things.
I've got a quote on my phone, just because it's just something I just went through a bit of a shit time recently, and it's, I believe every single person has got to hit that bottom for them to know how, like, amazing that they truly are, like, for them to it's like a bounce board, then you can either stay down there or you can literally, like, fucking shoot yourself back up. And I think, like you said before, like, whether you have something good or something bad happen to you, or however you make it, if you didn't have bad things, you wouldn't know how good felt, and if you didn't have good things, you wouldn't know how bad felt. So if everything was good all the time, you'd get semi bored of it. So it's good to have a bit of a mixture, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
That's why we put squats in people's programs.
That's why I program widow makers.
Yeah, to make you realise how good you actually are.
Jack, what's the next question?
Next question is, and I'll frame it in the way I frame this when I first speak to someone on, like, a discovery call with me. So in 10, I mean, I don't normally say it in 10 years time, I normally say in 12 months, but we'll go bigger picture with you guys. In 10 years time, you're sitting back down on the Coffee and Coaching podcast. We've just finished our big spiel with some giant sponsors like Under Armour and Nike. If you're listening, you know, we're looking for sponsors. Gives some free stuff. And you're sitting down in front of us. What have you achieved? What is the sort of end goal? What are you trying to build? What's your vision?
Well, it's like a joint one, isn't it? I suppose, like, for where we want to go and what we want to do.
Just take over the fucking world, mate.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
I think eventually, like, what we want to kind of get to is be able to obviously continue to change people's lives, but on a broader scale, to the point where, a little bit like James Smith and the people out there, that, you know, making it more affordable for people so that we can help so many other people, rather than it being quite limited now because of, like, costings and things like that. We don't want costings to be a barrier for people to be able to get help. So eventually that's where we want to kind of get to
and go into, like, because obviously I think more for you, it'd be for her to go into, you know, like, different police stations, actually teach people, you know, like, do, like, seminars and actually go, it isn't actually that hard. What you see on Instagram is sometimes a lot of shit. Unless you follow us for, then it's okay. But you don't. There's some doubtful things out there, but I think it's just helping more people. But, like, now it's, like, at a certain level where it's about going bigger and wider and, like, bringing other things into it, instead of it just being like X, Y, Z. It's going down that deeper scale into a different type of realm of coaching, I suppose you could call it.
Nice.
What about you? Either or?
And obviously we'd have, like, a house on a beach somewhere, with a nice little gym in it.
With a dog that doesn't bark too much.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
I still not confident talking about it out loud. I am, like, I will tell you, just not on the podcast, because I am so confident that this is the thing that is going to explode and take over the world, that I'm not letting it out until it is a thing.
You mentioned this on one of the podcasts with just you two, didn't you?
Yeah.
So after this, I want to know what it is. Thanks. Okay, bye.
I'll tell you after it, but it ties into what you have just said. It ties into what Isaac's doing. It's tying into, like, this is why I'm so fucking excited about it, because everyone I speak to is sort of wants the same thing out of like health and fitness, and I've
Yeah.
got something for that. That's fucking exciting.
I'm excited.
I just need to make it happen.
What about you, Isaac?
I think I do things backwards. So like, I think of what I want for my life, and then the vehicle in which I use to get me there changes all the time. So previously I was going to hire someone, then I decided against it, and now I feel like I want to start hiring a team again, and now I'm not sure. So there's a whole load of things going on, a billion ideas floating around in my head, but all I want is to be able to impact again the most people possible, and be able to create a life for myself where I'm financially free and I can impact lives. That's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I'm going to get there, but one day I will. Just take it day by day.
That's
Yeah.
it. 1% better every
Yeah.
single day.
I always think as well, the way I look at life is like the person that gets you to one level of like success, if you say, is not going to be the person that gets you to the next level.
Yeah.
Like you constantly change, and your mindset changes, and everything changes. It's like
Different levels, different devils.
Yeah.
That's what AN say.
Yeah.
Nice. Because I almost have experienced that, as I've had an idea and then I've gone 3 months and then I'm in a different place. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would I do that now? And then again, every single time you move forward, your goals change. So it's almost like the vision. Like I always talk to clients about vision, and we do podcasts, so make sure you've got a really strong vision. My vision is anchored in the values that I want to have in my life, like the actual how I want my life to look and feel like, but I'm not necessarily sure what avenue I need to go down to achieve that just yet. Just step forward every day, and then that's it. I'll be there one day.
I had a similar conversation about this with my business mentor, Mark, and he was saying like Mark's on another level, isn't he, Isaac? We both worked together with him for 6 months, and like he's just on another level. You have a call with him and he's just like, yeah, do this. He looks at you, he'll look at you like a landing page or a business idea or like a problem you bring to him, and he's just like, yeah, this. You want to write something, you want to write a post, and he's just like, this is how you write it, this is how you word it. And he's just on it because he's just operating on another level up. And on the last call I had with him, he was like, he's talking about how like I'm very, if he tells me, right, this is what we're doing next week, as soon as the phone's down, I'm in it. I'm like, right, okay, I want to get it all done today. Obviously I'm not going to, but I just go in it, and I'll message him like 2 hours later and be like, look, I've done this. And he's like, so you've got that energy? And he's like, so I like to think I've got that. And he was like, but I sat down with, I can't remember who it was. He mentioned another big coach who's like similar sort of level area to him. And they were talking about the clients that he works with who are like football agents, and like, but like football agents for like pros and stuff. And he was sitting down talking with Mark saying, these guys are on another level to us. And he was like, everywhere you go, like I look at Mark and go, fucking hell, he's fucking up here. And he's sitting down with his mate talking about some of the people they work with, going, fucking hell, they're on another level completely. They're up above us. And it's just constantly different people.
Yeah.
I've got this mentor. Sorry, go on.
No. You speak. Your story.
I've got, so obviously I'm with Authority Network, you know, Phil Graham.
Yeah.
And that is like that, like literally, like you hear the stories and the things that they're making, and they're just undeniably, you're just thinking, fucking hell, I'm nowhere near that. Like, what the hell am I meant to do here now? Doing this, and they're up there. It's just crazy.
But this is a good thing. I was having this conversation with one of my clients the other day, because he thought that he trained hard, and then started sending, just started a couple of weeks ago, and he started sending me videos to do. Sent a video through on the leg press, and put some, like basically like he almost wanted to send it across to show that he was working hard, and I just ripped him to shreds. And I was just like, well, not ripped him to shreds, that's a bit excessive. I was just like, that's about 6 reps left in the tank, and just basically told him what it was, and he was sort of hurt by it a little bit, but then realized that in it, like once you realize that, now you know there's levels, you know that there's more. Like this is what's wrong with the people in JD. That's why they're still shit. That guy has been being a shit PT for the last 10 years. He's just in JD. He's not exposed to the different levels that there are. That's why he's at the same level. Like being exposed to people at different levels lets you know that right there actually is more. You need to keep pushing to be able to get to these levels. And it's inspiring. It's exciting because how shit would it be if you were just if this was the top?
Yeah, I think I was lucky, like when I came into the industry, because I was pretty much mentored by Lydia, and she was just like so knowledgeable. I think it was like a pro and a con though, because in a lot of ways it was a pro, but then at the same time, initially I was like, oh, why don't I know that, and why am I not that good? And I was constantly like a little bit of comparison syndrome, even though there was nothing like anything should have been compared. It was just really hard to get my head around everything that Lydia knew and the stuff that I didn't know. I was just like, oh. But apart from that, it was like me and Simon were having this conversation the other day, and he was saying like, I've been quite lucky to be surrounded by really good like fitness industry professionals, because there's so much shit out there.
For the time I was at FLF, you were there.
Throughout all the gyms that you've ever worked in and stuff. But yeah, it's crazy, really.
I used to feel really uncomfortable about that. Like, when I first got, like, I feel like I come into the fitness industry later in life. A lot of people start like 18, 19 and in it for a while, and I was like 27-ish, 28 maybe when I started.
In my 30s.
Yeah, so like at first my ego, I'd come from a job where I knew it inside out. I was fucking fantastic at my job in the army, and I knew it well, and I was good at it. And then I've come into an industry and I'm surrounded by people younger than me that know way more than me, and it was hard, and my ego took a beating, and it was like I'd almost get like defensive about it, like, oh well, they're shit. Yeah, well, fucking that what they're doing stupid. Oh well, that's and like now it was just a defensive like ego, like didn't like not being the best at something.
I think it's part of like human, isn't it? Part of human nature, like yeah.
Whereas now I get like excited if I'm in a room or I'm talking to someone who is like on another level. It's like that's where I can get to. Like I want to be around you. I want to be around them people. Like when we went to London, we were just in that atmosphere, and like we went and met Mark. We went to his house and we trained in that gym, and like we speak like even like Jack,
like 17 G-wagons within 4 seconds.
Yeah. Wow.
Just being around people who are on another level is like I can get to that.
Yeah.
Like you're just a human being. We had that conversation, didn't we? Like we met Mark in person. It was like you are just a human. You're just made up of the exact same stuff as me.
Yeah.
Why can't I do that?
You've just been doing it for longer. That's all it is.
Yeah. I think that's like authority network, though, isn't it? Like, yeah, she's in authority network, and I'm in high performance coach with Joe Parrish, and it's exactly the same. I look at all the people in there, and I look at how high up they're operating and everything, and it just makes you aspire to be on that level, and it makes you work harder, and it makes you like want to push yourself a little bit more. Like I remember my dad always saying, if you're the wisest person in a room, you're in the wrong room. And it's always stuck with me, that always. So I always like strive to want to learn from people, and when you're no longer learning from someone, that's where you need to start questioning like that relationship, I think, where you're no longer like learning and growing as even just a friendship, I'd say.
Yeah, it's good to have different levels, though, isn't it? Like, you still need normal people in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we had this conversation on one of our podcasts when we say like that phrase of like surround, like your circle should be like lifting you up, and I think I done a post on it. It was like, it doesn't mean that if your friends aren't business owners and trying to level up life, you need to fuck all your mates off. Like you can still be mates with them people, but like there needs to be people in your life that you're like that are better than you, that are inspiring, that are something to. Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And if there isn't, then you're gonna stagnate. Like if you're the best PT in your gym, you'll never be any better.
No, I agree with that. Really, really do agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
I think someone's Q&A on this story the other week, and someone asked that. It was like, when's it time to move gym? And it was like, what do I do if there isn't like many PTs who are like good in my gym? And it was like, go and find a community. Go and find where, even if you are the best PT in your gym, go and find people who are better than you and just hang around with them. Facebook groups like the Authority Network, I can't remember the name of the one that Joe Parrish runs, but like you're then thrown into a world of people where like, oh shit, these people are fucking levels above me.
Yeah, and then he asked me to put a video in the group, and I was like, oh my God. I was like rambling for like 4 minutes, and then it was the night that, remember when everything crashed?
Yeah.
So I posted it, and then 10 minutes later, everything went off, and I was like, oh no!
Broke the internet.
Oh.
Yeah, you broke the internet. Well done, Grace.
Should we nail the third question?
Yes, let's go. Are you ready for this third question?
No,
Go.
Still.
Go.
That's why, Isaac. Let's go.
I'm asking this one. What is one thing that everyone in society takes as fact that you disagree with? Sorry,
go on.
Go on. It does, like, we said this at the start, and you said keto, didn't you? It's like, yeah, you could say like just stupid shit like keto or carbs are bad for you, or calories don't matter and all that, but like something on a deeper level.
I'd say, I know this it's probably not that deep, but the news.
Yes.
Like the news, and then also like, because the way I look at it, I don't watch the news. I don't like listening to the radio because of the news. Like, and no news to me is good news.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always kind of seen it. And people do, they take it for absolute. Gospel. And it's totally like the opposite in my eyes. So yeah, I think the news is up there, isn't it?
Yeah. I love that.
And it's how you interpret it as well. Like you can either take it as good or bad, I'd say. It's how you respond. Like in any situation, when you get given some news, you can either go, oh my God, everything's ruined and life's shit, or you can just be like, right, okay, well, what can I now do to make this situation better? And if you can't control it, you control it, and if you can't,
yeah, exactly,
let go of it. And I mean, it's taken me a while to. Yeah. And I still have wobbles. I'm not sitting here going, oh yes, I'm this like flipping person that handles every situation well.
Not into room now.
But if you have that in the back of your mind, then you're already a little step further than you were before.
Yeah, 100%. Like if you like 99.999% of the things on the news you can't control. So why are you wasting your energy worrying about it? It's like you guys might have heard it because you listened to Steve Bartlett's podcast. Have you heard the one with that Mo fella on?
Yes. That's probably.
He was talking about the news, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You were saying like about the lockdowns, like people were like watching the news of lockdown, being like, you need to know the death rate, you need to know all this, you need to know all that, and he was just like, I don't need to know that. I'm just filling my brain with negativity. Why would I waste time? Why would I waste time listening to this bullshit? All I need to know is that I have to wear a mask and restaurants are closed. That's it.
Yeah, in Canada, weren't it?
And you can't go out your house.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. I don't know anything else.
He's a good guy, though, because I relate to him, because I really don't like scary movies, and he's not watched one in 13 years, so now that's just my excuse. Don't want to work, don't want to do it.
I'm saying.
I like my sympathetic state to just fuck off sometimes. Sympathetic all the way, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I literally decided once I started learning about the autonomic nervous system, mate, I'm never watching a horror movie again. Why would I do that?
Why would you? I don't get it. I honestly, people when they sit there and watch them, I'm like, what the fuck's up with you? Like, why do you want to scare yourself that much? Like, this is because shit like that happens, you know. Like people put masks on and go murder people. That's not right. It's wrong. It's wrong.
I know, it's just why not. But you, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what we're talking about, he was saying that he doesn't fill his brain with negativity. So he doesn't watch horror movies, and he hasn't had a nightmare for the last 15 years since he stopped watching them. And every single night before he goes to bed, he watches Michael McIntyre because it makes him laugh. And
Yeah.
he has a
That
good
is funny.
before he goes to sleep. Sorry, he just has a good sleep. But it's like that. Like, we don't need to waste our energy. Going back to the news thing, we don't need to waste our energy and fill our brain with stupid shit.
No.
Like, there is definitely an agenda with the news. He was talking about he was talking about the fact that he had an interview or something on Channel 4, and he was talking about happiness, and it became like the most viewed clip from Channel 4 News ever in like 2 days.
Yeah, like 5.6 billion, weren't it, or something daft like that?
Something ridiculous. And he was talking about happiness, and he was like, the people in Channel 4 are probably thinking, what the fuck, we just spent the last however long broadcasting news about war and death and fear and trying to scare the population, and we put one clip about happiness and got 56 billion views or something.
And as well, I always think, how many group chats were you in over COVID? You didn't need to watch the bloody news anyway, because you got it from about 10 different group chats at the same time, and then
your mum sharing something from fucking Spain. Mum, we're not in Spain.
Like that first, I've never really watched the news or anything for that exact reason. Like, it is like CNN constant negative news is what it's. That's what, like, the whistleblower stuff that's just come out about Facebook. Like, they know you're going to use the apps more if it's negative stuff, because you're just drawn to be on it more. Like, the science supports that, so that's what they do, because it's a business at the end of the day, isn't it? The news is a business, so they want you there. That's what works to keep you there, so they use it. But like, people, like, especially during the first lockdown, people were like, I'm one of them people who were like, oh, have you seen the news? I'm like, no. Yeah. Like, yeah, but have you seen all this stuff that's come out? I'm like, okay, but can we go for food yet? Or like, what? Like, tell me that bit. Like, yeah, but this happened. I'm like, okay, but like, can I go to the gym? Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was this. Can we go to the gym?
Like,
yeah.
It's just like, if you can't control it, why are you concerned? Just deal with the stuff that you can actually deal with to change your life. No point in stressing over things that you actually can't control. You're just wasting your time, wasting your life.
I told you about the Navy SEAL phrase that they have.
Yeah.
About staying in your 3-foot world.
Mm-hmm.
And it is literally that like, anything, your arm's like 3 foot long. Average Navy SEALs 6 foot. So your arm length is 3 foot long. So when you go into a building, when you go into a situation, when you go into somewhere that is life-threatening, you can only control what you can grab. You can grab your weapon, you can grab your teammate, you can grab a door. You can only control that 3 foot. Everything else is out of your control. So stay inside your 3 foot world and you'll be fine. And the story that I heard for this was a guy was rock climbing as part of like their selection process, which is grueling. And he's on this rock face and he froze. And he was like, he looked down, big fucking rock face, big fucking drop. Like, fuck this. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to die. What if the rope snaps? What if I slip? And the instructor catches up to him and goes, what's in your 3 foot world? Where's the next handhold? Where are you putting your next foot? Where are you putting your next hand? And he was like, right, okay. He was like, just look at that.
That's really good. Yeah. I'm robbing that. Thank you.
You can have that. Yeah. Stay in your 3 foot world, because you can only control what's in that 3 foot.
Yeah. I've left the straighteners on, I can hear them beeping, can you?
So, with my one's somewhat related to Isaac's. He's disappeared just right now, but I feel like you should say his, and then obviously I can give my point on it, because
I mean, middle of a podcast, walks out his front door. We'll just wait for you to just do whatever you need to do. It's not like we're recording this. Don't worry about it. You just...
Well, lads, we wouldn't be recording it if I didn't do that, because I'm on like 2% and he's got the charger out the car. So I would have been very bad.
Is this like an episode? Is this turned into like an episode of MTV Cribs?
I know, yeah. This is one bedroom.
So for you listening to this and you're not watching it, Isaac's just took us on his laptop for a little tour of his house while he gets his charger ready. So yeah, say that again, Lydia, just because I don't think Isaac heard it.
Yeah, I feel like you should go next, Isaac, because I feel like mine's somewhat related to your, like, one thing that people think is gospel, but you just don't agree with. I think ours is somewhat related to one another.
So let me just get this fucking charger in. You know what? I have like these neat cable holes in my desk, so it's not all messy, but I'm just gonna put it in because otherwise I'll be here for like 20 minutes.
You are actually going to feed that through. That's how OCD you are, that needed to go through the hole in the middle of recording the podcast. You were like, nope.
I've literally, honestly, I've got behind you. It's like a gap. That's where everything goes. Grace had air wire like thrown up before us. It's like, no. This goes behind.
Yeah, it's doing me head in, but I haven't got time. So mine is, again, I'm going to try and I phrased it to Jack in this way before, because I feel like it makes more sense to phrase what I believe rather than to phrase what I disagree with.
Yeah.
So I believe that you are 100% responsible for every single aspect of your life. And the position that you are in now is 100% your fault. So whether that's good or a bad position, it's completely your fault. No matter what has happened to you in your life, it's still your fault. Because I think certain people believe, or most people probably believe, that the hand you get dealt in life, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and there's that can sort of dictate the direction with which your life goes. And if you're not quite where you want to be, it's because my family didn't love me, or it's because I was abused as a kid. Like, yeah, you might have had the fucking heaviest childhood ever. You might have got divorced and your wife took your house and you just fucked and your head got kettled because of that, but still your fault. Like that's my, this is one of the points from last week's podcast, Jack, wasn't it?
Yeah.
5 Habits of Successful People. 100% responsibility. Like, no matter, even if it's not your fault, it's still your responsibility to deal with it. So
Yeah.
if life is absolutely just RKO'd you out of nowhere and it's just put you on your ass completely, you're still responsible for getting yourself out of that position. So if you're in a bad position now, it's still your fault. You need to deal with it.
Totally, 100%
Yeah.
agree.
And it's like cause and effect. So this is obviously, I agree with you. Like, I think people don't realise that genuinely it's up to you to do what you need to do. Anything bad happens to you, it's up to you. So you cause and effect. And one thing we've been taught in AN is your mind will go where least resilience is. So that's why people always go resistance. Yeah, least resistance is. So people will go choose the easy route. But you go choosing the easy route and then you don't get to where you want to be, that's your fault because you've not gone where you actually wanted to go. So it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
If you want to go achieve something good, well, you're going to have to graft. You are going to have to stay up a little bit later, but there's things that you can put into place and get you to where you need to be.
Mark Rhodes is part of the Authority Network, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah.
He's one up.
He
I'm not as good.
posted something yesterday and it was just on that, and it was like, I'll try and draw it on here if you can see. You should be able to see it.
I'm going to mark you out of 10.
Yeah, really quickly draw it up.
Really quickly, so implying that already making an excuse for himself before.
So
yeah,
he put that up and it literally said, where are we? Terrible teacher. I'd be a useless teacher.
Yeah, he put it on his story, didn't he?
Yeah, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life.
That's what I was about to say. The irony of making easy choices now is that it gets harder later.
Yeah, because in AN, that's what we get taught, that there's 3 ways in life that you can do. So you've got the middle one, which is like change nothing will change, or change nothing, then everything gets worse, or start to change something and everything will get better. So it's something similar to that.
Slight edge, that, isn't it? Like
yeah. So it gets taught to clients. That's like one of the, on like a discovery call, it's one thing that we actually talk about clients. Like, you've got 3 options in life. Which one are you going to choose? Stay the same and nothing's going to change, or the bottom one where you're going to get worse and just your health just carry on deteriorating. Again, what you just said, it's up to your responsibility to choose one. Which one do you want to go through? You're going to choose the green line.
I'll give you the 3-foot world because I'm taking that.
I'll send you the picture so you can actually have it.
Yeah.
So, because it explains it a lot better than what I have, because I'm pretty sure I just said every single attachment wrong. So it's something along those lines though, so it's all right.
Yeah, I think it's true though, isn't it? But some people struggle to take the responsibility or struggle to see that. So there'll probably be some people listening now who will be offended and might have turned the podcast off. But they're just not in a position to take responsibility right now for whatever reason.
Oh, what's yours, Lydia, that was close to that?
Exactly that. So it basically the same thing, but like obviously your mind will go with like your least resistance and your cause and effect. It's totally up to you no matter what. Even like this is coming from someone who literally completely went through a really bad rough patch the past 3 months. Like, and I sat there whilst I was in the room that I was in. I was just like, no, this is my fault. If this is my fault, I'm going to go apologise to each and every single person that I've fucked up the life with. But I knew it was down to me to go do that because no one else was going to do it for me. So I think going back to obviously the point is, I think sometimes though that you've got to go through something to kind of go, oh no, actually this is literally everything I do from this point forward is down to me. Like it isn't going to be down to anyone else. So I need to make the right choices to go forward in life instead of going backwards.
Like,
do you think
mindset, isn't it?
Do you think that the reason not everyone can do that is because of the burden that it takes to place that upon yourself is very heavy?
Yeah. It took a good time for me to sit there and go, okay, I need to apologise and go do what I need to do. It took like a month to do it, didn't it?
Maybe 3.
It took a long while for me to actually sit there and go, fucking hell, I need to do something about this before everything goes wrong. But
accepting responsibility for everything that's going wrong is fucking hard. It's almost like acceptance that you're at fault, or initially it can be hard for people.
Yeah, because the thing is as well, like when you do admit that you've done wrong, you've got repercussions from that as well. So you've got people that are going to give you shit constantly, even though you're doing right. You're then going to get people's negative shit at you. So it's about going then, okay, do I listen to them and accept it, or do I go, I understand what you're saying, but I've now got to go and do what I need to go do.
Yeah, 100%.
Catch-22, innit?
Yeah, it is. Jack, what's yours?
Yes, mine. I don't feel like mine's even up there now. After that, that was a really powerful answer, and I'm just gonna bring the podcast down. No, so mine is to do with
the same thing.
Yeah.
Substrata of life.
Yeah, it's just an off little strand off that little avenue.
Yeah.
Turn right before you get to the end of your point. That sickness, illness is something that just happens to you. Like, I don't believe that. Like, people like you in conversation, like, oh yeah, I caught a cold. Oh yeah, there's a bad bug going around. Oh yeah, thingy's really sick. Like, nah, doesn't happen. Like, you don't get sick just because you're unlucky.
No.
Like, if you know someone who's sick all of the time, it's not luck, is it? Something caused that. Even, and I mean, this is going to really piss people off. Even if you look at like the genetical thing, genetical. My word, it is now. My words, I'll do what I want.
My podcast.
Yeah, my podcast, do what I want. If it's a genetic condition, well, something caused that down the line for that to be a thing. It's just bad luck that you were born with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
it could be just complete chance, but also going back to my point, still your responsibility to fucking deal with it. Even if you've got a heavy fucking genetic disorder, still.
I agree with that. Like, because when COVID was at its like peak, I was still a frontline police officer at the time, and I didn't catch COVID. And I was literally in people's faces, searching them like up this close. Didn't catch COVID, and then I caught COVID like August, and I know it's because I was
August as well, so like over a year later.
I was burning the candle at both ends. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't eating enough food. I was just literally not practicing what I preached, and I got really ill. So I know 100% that is why I got ill, because my immune system's always been absolutely amazing, hasn't it? Fire. But And then I was like, yeah, I've not got COVID. Look at me. And then it was like,
I was just like, you need to do a lateral flow test. She's like, no, don't. I was like, do a lateral flow test. She did one. I was like, wait, you got COVID. Shoot you down.
Like, I'm going to say something that's going to sound stupid, but also kind of like obvious, is that there's no healthy people in hospital.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't go to hospital and it's like, that guy over there has got like pneumonia, but he's really healthy. Like,
Yeah.
everything was going great until pneumonia hit him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not healthy going into hospital, are you?
No.
Done something to lead up to that. Like, every time I've gone to A&E, even if it's been an injury, I've done something stupid.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I didn't tear my pec off my chest because, like, I was getting really good sleep and I was training really well. I tried to jump and swing off a bar in the ceiling and fell on the floor and ripped my pec. Like, I done something stupid.
Sounds like my type of person.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, it is true. And obviously, obviously, we don't want to talk about COVID, but the majority of people who had COVID and got COVID really fucking bad were overweight. So if that's volume, then God knows what.
I lost about flipping 5 kg when I had it. Jesus Christ, I nearly had abs for the first time ever.
I woke up.
Don't go catching COVID, anyone, on purpose.
Yeah.
I woke up after food poisoning, lean as fuck. Lost like a couple of kilos in like 2 days. And was just
You both just give away the secret to my 28-day challenge I'm starting tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. COVID and food poisoning. Go eat some raw chicken.
some raw chicken with one kaftan.
Oh, love that. Ugh. Makes you sick.
Is there any other topics that we want to speak about, or should we wrap it up?
I think that is a nice round off to a really good podcast.
It is, yeah.
It's nice to have some fantastic guests on. I don't have to just chat shit with you the whole time.
Thanks for listening to me, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah, then lad.
Every week, same face.
Different coffee.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We knew it was going to be a good podcast because I said this to Isaac when we were talking about getting guests back on. You were the first names that come to my head because we were talking about the live that we done.
Yeah.
And it was my favourite Instagram live that I'd done. It was, you just bring a good energy when you come on and you bounce off each other, and we work well when we do stuff like this. And I was just like, yeah, let's get them on. Let's kick it off with a really good guest. And it was a good podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both for inviting us.
Coco is being a psycho right about now.
I just see you get like pulled around in the background.
He's ragging his koala bear.
I still want to know what you think is, so once this is paused, I want to know what it is.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and just tell them where that you can find you.
So mine's at Lydia's PT, literally that is it.
Yeah, and mine is at Grace M for Mike Cowan, Cowan. Yeah, it was Gracie Fit, but I changed it to my name.
Because everyone was calling the Gracie, she was like, "This is not my name.
It's
not my name."
Yeah. And I remember Jack writing a post ages ago about some people with Fit in the name, member, and I was like, I don't think I commented.
It was in the name, ain't it? Tight bastards.
It was just a post about you, but I didn't have the balls to say it.
Yeah, but I came up with that name. It was like years ago, weren't it, when I set up my Instagram?
Yeah.
Just want to know a secret?
One.
My first Instagram had Fit in the name, and that's probably why I read the post.
Your own responsibility. You did that yourself.
Yeah.
I'm owning up. I'm taking ownership of why.
What was it, Jack? Jack Fit.
What was what?
Jack Fit. Yeah, get fat. Don't get fat. Get fit with Jack.
It was.
Get fit with Fat Jack.
I've got it. Do you know what I remember? Because
it was called Fat Jack, wasn't it?
No, it was something fitness. I've got the hoodie in. I found the hoodie the other day when I was having a clear out.
Is that when Tom first ever came with you, actually?
Way before that. I was still in the army.
Wow.
Yeah.
I I want to know what it is now. I'm like pure curiosity. So
I think it was Get Jacked Fitness.
Get Jacked.
Jacked.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's quite good though. That nice.
Yeah, little play on the name. Yeah, I like playing with. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
where, hence like Silver Jacks. I like playing with stuff, even if it doesn't really make sense for what it is that I do.
Oh, yeah.
Right, thank you everyone for listening. You can find me and Jack at coach.commander.
At jack.level10life or at reach.level10life. There's two of us now.
Yeah, Rachel's working now. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening. See you next week.